Well, here's an interesting set. It's set in the so-called Muslim manner. Now, why these pieces are called Muslim, it's hard to say. Probably because the design of these pieces hasn't changed very much over the centuries, and they look very similar to the very early pieces that appear in Alfonso the Wise's book, and that haven't changed very much in the intervening centuries. So it's from somewhere in the Middle East, India almost certainly, and it well maybe two sets been matched up together to play on a cloth board, obviously a handmade board. So how, if chess came out of India or the Middle East or thereabouts, how did it come into Europe? Well, here we have a picture of the Sillk Route, and we got the land route in red and the sea route in blue, and the Sillk Route wasn't a 1-2 point thing of start to finish. People hopped onto it, did some trading, sold some stuff, bought some stuff, hopped on a bit further, sold that, went back and did the same thing over and over again. So this area here, Persia, Arabia, India, Egypt even, and eventually into Europe, was probably the birthplace of chess. And these pieces represent the culture of those peoples. They wrote their shapes, what they regarded as aesthetically pleasing, and the sets that they played with. There are very few pictures of people playing with sets like this, but nonetheless there were many made, and they really don't survive. They're very much difficult to find, and this is quite a nice representative set. Now, regarding the culture of chess and the countries, what we have here, a very normal looking Staunton set. So why am I pairing it up with this Indian set? Well, this set is just as much like a Jake's pattern Staunton set as you would hope to see. It's a little bit shinier. The knights are very well carved, a very precise bit of carving there. As nice a knight as you could possibly hope to see. In fact, probably the equal of a Jake's knight, I would think. And here we have the original box, and it's felted, divided, it's got a label, just as much like a Jake's set as you could possibly hope to see. And as we see here, it says it's the craftsman's set, and it was made in Japan. And there's a space there between made in and Japan, and that tells me this was made just after the occupation of Japan by the British after World War II. And the word that would have been in there, had this been a slightly earlier set, would have been occupied. And we have a designer's name, the person who claims to have designed the set. To my eyes, it's simply a copy of a Jake's. However, it's weighted, it's varnished, it's very well carved, and what we're seeing here is the imposition of an idea from the West onto the production people in Japan. They must have been asked to produce these, because although they have a culture of chess in Japan, it's a different game. It's played with flat counters. You can add in pieces that you take. The concept is completely different, the board's different, and the pieces are different. And this is a very Western idea, or a very Japanese interpretation of a very Western idea. This is the form of chess set that was produced, as we all know, by John Jakes in 1849, and then at some time in the 1950s someone must have taken the chess set across to occupy Japan and said, yeah, make these, we can sell them. And so here we have these sets, very attractive and very collectible because of the associations that there are with them.